Everybody, this is Lily. For those of you that don't know me, for those of you that do, how you doing? Okay, so the topic of conversation today is forgiveness. But it's not about forgiving others today, it's about forgiving yourself. Okay, so let me elaborate a little bit on that. We go through life and we just we make all kinds of decisions, all kinds of mistakes, some on purposes. We have some on purposes and we know it's wrong and we still step into it. As you get a little older and a little wiser and maturity kicks in, you realize some of your mistakes and you kind of beat yourself up over them over and over and over again. And, it's a trigger effect, because if you don't get to a place where you forgive yourself and learn to move forward, you end up being stuck. I'm always talking about forgiving other people, and that is key because, the Word of God says that as much as you forgive someone is as much as you will be forgiven. But today it's more about ourselves. I'm going to use myself as a perfect example to where, there are choices that I made with my ex-husband, that my kids ended up paying. And later on, when I had a forgiveness dinner with my children, they were like, "Oh, Mom, Dad was doing this and you just left us." And, I didn't know how to give them both me and continue to be apart with their dad. For example, we were not together, but yet we were still living in the same house because the kids were, "Oh, Mommy, just let him sleep on the couch. Please, Mommy, I want to be with Daddy." And so, but he would beat on me. So what I would do is I would let my children have their father, but I would sit on the side of the road for 4 and 5 hours until the wee hours of the night after I got out of work, so that, I'm sorry, the bugs are getting in my way, so that I can, give them their father, but then they were missing me. And I didn't know that. I didn't know the trigger effect of what I was doing at the time. At the time, I thought I was doing the right thing. So I would go to work, and then it would be 5 o'clock, and then, he cooked, he cleaned, they'd take care of his children, but he was high and he was doing drugs. So, when these things transpired, my kids were going through some changes, and I was like, oh, I was a lousy mom, and, I didn't know how to give them both. And for a long time, I beat myself up over that. I mean, even though I got my kids counseling and, they graduated high school, I got 3 that went to college, I got 1 that's a senior, and all these different things to where they turned out all right, but I beat myself up for some of the decisions that I made. Why did I stay that long? Why didn't I do better for my kids? I didn't know. I didn't know that, the damage that I was doing. But I had to get to a place where I forgave myself and say, you know what, I messed up. I made some bad choices. I struggled to be a good mom. I struggled to work hard to be a provider and a protector, take on roles that didn't belong to me. And I was angry and I was scared and so many different things. And so the time went by and I was just like, I didn't forgive myself. I left him and I did what I had to do, and my life was better for it at the end, but I didn't forgive myself because to me, I screwed up. But I had to learn to forgive myself and to recognize that, I'm accountable. I made the mistakes. I made it up. You can't really make it up to your children. You could just make today better than yesterday and tomorrow better than today, if you're lucky to see tomorrow. But it was a struggle, and there was a few other things, but that was like my greatest example of forgiving myself. And when I did, man, my kids forgave me the moment I forgave myself. And then, I was able to push forward and do great things with my children. But until I didn't forgive myself, I was no good to nobody. So, just take a moment and look back and reflect and be accountable, of course, but then forgive yourself. Because if you don't forgive yourself, man, you're stuck. And it's the worst feeling in the world. I thank God that I'm free, that I'm forgiven not only by God, but my children. And every day is a better day and a growing experience. And, you do better when you know better. Salute. Forgive yourself.